Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what day it is. It is
The
the best day of the week.
absolute best day of the week.
Welcome to Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between. I'm your co-host, Professor Charles, along with my beautiful co-host.
Professor Brittany Charles, you're so flattering. Thank you.
Well, I'm trying to be, dog. I try.
Best co-host. He's the best co-host.
Yes, and we are Dating University, where we discuss the good
The bad.
and the ugly of.
Of all things, dating and relationships.
And as you can tell, we're already off to a fantastic start.
You already know.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for taking the time out today, wherever you are, whenever you are. And shout out to our podcast listeners. You guys have been doing amazing. We
Yes.
appreciate you. Please continue to share.
Yeah.
I want to preface this for our listeners and our viewers right now. This is a pre-recorded show. We are not live today. We are not live. So make that perfectly clear. Make sure get the ticker going so y'all can see that scrolling across y'all screen right now. What does it say? This is a pre-recorded episode. We are not live. All right.
Charles, you're so technologically savvy. It is amazing.
Well, I tried to. You know,
She's the tech brains behind the brand. And what do I do? Like the
you make us look good. You make us look good. You make us
God
look
bless
good.
you.
And then you come with the fire questions.
I can take that. I like it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have been with us the last 2 weeks, we have delved into a very, prolific topic, dealing with dating as a Black woman and dating as a Black man. Our first week, we had a panel of women on who came on, and they were absolutely fire. The episode lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yes.
It was amazing. The ladies,
amazing show.
And it was very informative. It was humbling. It was also eye-opening and a little triggering, but hey, that's what this whole thing is about. Following week, we had a group of brothers on, and when I told you, the men came to represent. You hear me? We bought the heat, huh? We bought it. We bought the man. I'm telling you, these brothers came in out the door was like, pow, pow, pow. The hell with your assumptions. We got this.
They came.
That episode lasted 2 hours. Like 2 hours on the dot, which is crazy. And so we thought, what better way to then bring everybody who was on, all those who could make it, because there are a few who could not make it this evening who were on panel this week and last week, to come back and have just another conversation, but together. And the reason why we're pre-recording this is because we didn't want any outside influences from our normal daters who come in and watch us on live here on Facebook and YouTube. So we wanted to, just have a pure and just, what's the word I want to use, Brittany?
Just a raw conversation.
Yeah, go.
Void of, any external factors that can throw off the tone of the conversation.
Exactly. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Patty, Uncle Poochie, Dottie, Dwight, and Ania.
Welcome back.
You guys are officially professors here.
Yeah.
Well, especially Dottie and Ania and Patty, because y'all already been on here a couple times before. So yeah. y'all summa cum laude.
Yes, it's good to see you all again. It's good to hear from all of you again. Thank you for taking the time out to hang with us and to just have some good conversation. So With that being said, let's get these introductions out of the way. Granted, we already met all of you over the course of the 2 weeks, but we want to hear from you again. But this time it's a little different. So we want you to introduce yourself with your name, and if you could sum up dating in a music song. So give us a song that sums up the dating experience.
Ladies go first.
Okay. Am I first?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So my name is Patty, and my song to sum up the dating world would be Jaded Aerosmith.
Ooh. Wow.
It took me a really long time to think about that. I've been thinking about it all day. I think it would be Jaded Aerosmith.
That is a good one.
Okay.
Oh, it's me.
It is.
So I didn't know I was going to be next. Hey, my name is Dottie, and I'm going to go with the song called Here by, her name is Elisa. I don't know how it's actually pronounced, Alyssa Clara, but I don't know if y'all know what it is, but y'all can look it up.
Look it up.
Oh, yeah, look at them there.
Yeah, it's called Here.
We can make a dating university playlist after tonight's show.
Facts.
Love it.
And I'm Ania. I picked Down in the DMs because I feel like dating has just moved right on over to the DMs nowadays. So we are.
If it ain't daddy, just move to the web.
Wow. that's a good one.
I'm already done.
I was gonna say nuck if you buck, but I decided.
You know what?
Let's add that to the playlist too, Charles.
You might as well.
For kicks and giggles.
With everybody out here.
Okay. My name is Dwight, and I'm gonna take it old school. Let's stay together.
Ooh. Hey.
Okay.
Man.
Do you want to sing a little bit for us?
Why do people break up? Oh, turn around and make up.
Okay.
That is. Let me tell you, I love the Reverend. That is like
I love that. Seriously,
one of my all-time favorite songs. Like
absolutely.
Ever. So it's all about right that dating. Why do people break up and turn around and make up?
You just made me want to two-step, Dwight. Okay.
Bring it.
Uncle Poochie with the official mic. Bring it.
Well, because I can't go for a lot of things, the song that probably describes my dating situation is I Can Go For That by Hall & Oates, because I can go for a lot of bullshit that's going on in this dating scene. So yeah, I can go for that.
No can do.
No can do. I can go for that.
Wow.
I don't know what it is, but I can go for it. I can tell you that.
You know it when you smell it.
That was good. That was good. So let's hop into our first activity. We're going to call this activity role reversal. So the aim of this is to bring about dialogue to see misconceptions from the other gender. For example, we want the women to give us one word to describe dating from a Black man's perspective. Once the ladies say their one word, fellas, it's on you to say whether you agree and or disagree. So the women will say, this is the word to describe dating from a Black man's perspective. Insert word here. They can give a brief sentence explaining why they chose that word, and then fellas sound off. If you like it, chime in. If you don't like it, really chime in.
Oh yeah. See.
Are we starting with the ladies or the fellas?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So me, okay. Hey. So a dating as a Black man is shameless.
Woo!
How you?
Why now with that word you got to give us some context.
Because right now a lot of these guys have no shame in what they're doing. They're just shameless. They are sitting here and they're playing games, and they just think they can get away with a lot of things that they're doing. So I want to just go with shameless. I like that.
Fellas, sound off. Donnie came with the word shameless. What do y'all feel?
But sis, don't you
Hey, I'm not gonna argue with her on that for real though, because I met some cats. So yeah.
I'm not signing off on that. I'm not signing off on that. Sis, you set the standard. So what they bring to you is what you accept. So if someone's shameless, I mean, listen, I get it. Some brothers don't have respect. I cannot say some brothers don't have respect. I don't know who they was raised by. They must have been raised by wolves. But I'm just saying, if you accept pickle juice, you know, don't get mad when they bring you pickle juice. There's certain shit I gotta look at and you gotta be like, I don't even go.
It's certain things,
but I guess
you don't know.
But hold on. So sometimes you ain't asking for pickle juice. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the store and you know what I'm saying? You want a milkshake and then you get like a pickle juice milkshake. You be like, wait,
right? You like I didn't even ask for this.
But see, at that point, that's you know what? I'll wait. But I see you. I acknowledge you. Your points are valid, sister.
Exactly. There you go. And then all you got to do is just accept it and let's roll on.
And then that's what I'm saying. So okay, all right.
And if I might add, when they bring it to you, treat it like the phone allows you to do. Spam block.
Boom.
There you go. Amen.
Get out of here.
Amen.
Well done.
Oh, most definitely. Once you realize that that's what it is, they gotta go.
Peace.
And block. Bye.
Shameless. Donnie started off rough.
Those blocks dead in the street. You not accepting it. Bye.
Patty, what's your word? Give it to us.
So it's crazy that she came off with that because my word was confusing. And the reason I said confusing was because I feel like there are so many women out here that don't have standards. And then you have the women that do, that men are approaching all women the same. And it's causing a lot of confusion in the dating world where we're not taking it as you just don't know that I have these standards. Because you're used to doing with females that don't have these standards, it's kind of like who raised you.
See, that's why Patty is about. He's about to be one of my favorite professors here on Dating University, man. Because
I'm still learning.
She sees it.
I don't be nobody's professor.
Okay, fellas, she said confusing. What do y'all feel about that?
I agree because last week I said it was hoopla. And to just add on to what Dottie said, I mean, confusing is the same thing as shameless to an extent, because it's like, I don't know who you got me confused with, but I'm not one of them. So I feel for you ladies that y'all have to kind of set that tone with certain men, because again, I don't know who the fuck is raising these people. So I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I can second and third that as well. I don't know. I think having clarity in any type of relationship is about communicating. And if you're dealing with a lot of guys, honestly, I didn't learn to effectively communicate in a relationship and know the difference between what I was feeling and thinking until I was 30. Because I was constantly saying what I think, and it's because I don't want to know what you think. I want to know what you feel. And I had to really think about that. And I had to really get in touch with my emotions to know, and then to join the two together to really learn how to articulate and bring about bring that whole thing together.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Cool. I like it.
Ania, give us a word.
I said that dating as a Black man is carefree. And I said that because what I noticed in our conversation with the women versus the men was that a lot of our concerns were around even just like physical safety with dating, and men just don't have that same worry, nor do they sometimes acknowledge that women may have that. Yeah.
I'm in complete agreement with that. I mean, there is a bit of a more freedom. I mean, we can go out and have as many partners and not be looked at as, you know, as far as for our contemporaries, as a hoe or anything like that. We may look like that from our counterparts, from the women. We are scapegoated when it comes to fathering children. Like, we can kind of walk away from the woman and the child. And that's a hard thing.
Or like physical safety. Like, men could be like, cool, let's meet up today. Let's go grab a drink at 10 o'clock. A woman's gonna think twice about doing that.
And if I could add on to that, what Charles was saying and what you were saying, Miss, is that's something I think a lot of men are getting really bad at. I would say that I know at one point in my life, it was nothing to meet up with somebody you met supposedly on the internet the same day. Now I'm like, you ain't coming to my house. I ain't coming to your house. You're not going to see my car. We gonna FaceTime. We gonna be in conversations for about 2 months. I need
to know.
Yeah. So that's really unfortunate that a lot of men are just like, hey, what's up? You want to come over and watch a movie? I'm like, dude, how you know she don't rob people?
And that's and I'm like, granted, those stories are not like, an everyday occurrence, like a woman being like sexually assaulted, molested or anything like that. But it still happens.
But
everybody's favorite woman, everybody's favorite lady rapper right now, which she bragged about it, like she was setting up cats. And I'm like,
and may I add, I've been set up. I've been set up by a female counterpart, and let me tell you, that is no fun to be on the other end of anything like that. And it really made me think twice about how invincible I thought I was. So,
would you mind sharing that story? Because we don't hear this often. So. Okay.
Yeah, Dottie knows a little bit about this. Dottie, this is San Diego.
Okay.
I was dating this person. Some things had went south. And I knew it went south. And I actually told Dottie about it. She was like, you probably shouldn't go on the trip. I still went on the trip. And it was an ambush. It was a total ambush. It was crazy because it was an ambush on vacation. Could you imagine that?
So when you say ambush, do you literally mean an ambush?
Yeah. So she invited some people who didn't like me. And they like basically threatened to beat me up and like, do a bunch of harmful things to me. And because as I shared on the last episode, because I was alcoholic, it made me very fearless. So I was just like, fuck, I don't give a fuck. And luckily there was a group of people who were there. They was just like, no, you need to leave like right now. This is going to get out of hand if you don't.
Oh, wow.
And luckily, it spawned my podcast career, but yeah, it was no fun. It was definitely no fun.
Wow.
Instagram calls, calling Dottie, you set me up. So now
that's unfortunate. Okay.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Like, yeah, so there is a slight fear, but like Ania said, there's more so from the women's perspective and the women's space. So that's something that we actually have to like be more cognizant of. We have to be aware of when we asking women out. Not at 10 o'clock at night at like this dive bar that's in the back of an alley, don't have no signs on the door or anything like that.
And that's the bad thing about it, is that's a thing, because some of those bars are really nice, but it's just the time that you asked me to come out.
Right. Exactly.
And just to add, just to piggyback, those all of these situations are unfortunate. But one of the things that I'll say is always, you can trust but verify. I was watching one of these shows. I don't know if it was like 60 Minutes or whatever, but a couple, she had been married for a number of years and they had a gym together. And when she decided she didn't want to be in a relationship anymore, she talked to a hitman, to have her husband killed. And these are things that just happen in life all the time. Keep your head on a swivel. I don't care if that thing is new or if it's been going on a while. You got to understand your surroundings at all times. And I guess this is the way of the world. It's unimaginable to me. And that thing almost killed that guy emotionally and mentally, to know that once he found out that this woman who he was married to, going home to sleep in the bed with her, just talked to a hitman and have him killed.
That's crazy.
So,
like, how do you rebound from that? I would have.
I don't know at that point, you join a monastery or something. I don't
Listen,
know.
I would too.
Yeah, like, I don't know, but
It's real.
yeah, it had to be devastating. I mean, you know, just it's crazy.
Before we move on, I do want to piggyback off of something Charles said, because I think this is something that we don't discuss with our Black men enough. Charles went on to talk about how, like, the carefree with, you know, going out and having multiple pregnant because, like, dumping the women with a child, right? My only concern with those fear for all Black men is you don't know the women you're dumping these situations on. And as we're seeing it go, the men that have more to lose are losing half of what they have to child support, are losing prime things in their life because they dealt with a woman they didn't know how she was going to be, that came, turned around and flipped it on him and took everything, and all it was worth was me getting a baby to do this. So when we go, and I just say this for anybody in the situation where you can get ambushed, in a situation where you don't know shawty and she could be setting you up. Setting somebody up is in multiple layers. Like, somebody can have an eye out and see you doing good for yourself and say, that's my ticket.
Yeah.
That should be a fear in itself, to be more considerate and more thoughtful and put more time into considering who you're dating and who you're pursuing.
Is that another song I could add to that? Take time to know her.
When you said that, Charles, it kind of triggered me, because I don't know why that is, like, in the mind of our Black men. It's okay for that, like, just to do that, because you're still putting yourself in very dangerous situations.
Correct. I mean, man. Yeah.
I mean, it's saddening that they go through that, but there's also men that are super carefree with their bodies. A lot of them hate using condoms. Let's be real. Right. They're like, condoms, I'm allergic, or it doesn't feel the same.
Right.
So, you know, at the end of the day, you know,
I mean, like,
who do we fault with that?
Yeah, the air
70% of something is better than 50% of your check being gone. I'm just saying.
But a guy's still really using those lines, and we're falling for them. That's the thing.
That's the other thing.
But you have some women that don't have that standard. They don't even ask about a condom.
Right.
I've had women that I have been in intercourse with that have asked me to take said protection off. I must have looked like, you know, people, you must be crazy. Like,
was this on like a first date? Were you guys heavily involved with each other? I'm just asking for the timing purposes.
Yeah. So I try now, later in my later years, I try not to have too many like first date hookups, just for my health purposes. You know, you get older, you start taking that into consideration, you know. So generally I like space out. A lot of people, at least my age, they don't like believe me, but I try to space out not having sex with a female until like 3 months into knowing her. Kind of something like Dwight said last week, you know, it's not even more about just knowing what you do and doing it well. It's just more about also protecting myself too, you know. And, so usually I won't have a sexual encounter with someone until like maybe 3-4 months into it. At that point, sometimes women think that they're very comfortable with you and they've known you for 3 to 4 months now. So it's just like, well, we've been talking for 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Go ahead, take that off. And I'm like,
okay, understood. Okay.
No, and it brings up like my godmother's book, you know, God rest her soul, Kathy Snyder. Her book that she wrote was called I Love My Sperm. And she spoke from the perspective of men, like, you have to value what you have. Like, you know, just like the same way women protect their bodies, men have to protect themselves as well. Like, we have to have a higher respect for what we can create, what we can, you know, like, there's a lot of power in, you know, not just being in the literal semen, but in just, there's a lot of power in our energy. you know, and what we give to women, and you know how we can affect women psychologically and spiritually and physically and emotionally. Like, it's a lot that we do, you know what I'm saying? So when we're sharing our bodies with these women, it's an exchange of energies. Like, and that's what we have. We it's not just an act of like, oh, I'm just getting my dick wet, or you know what I'm saying, I'm just, you know, here to, you know, bust a nut and I'm out the door. No, it's so much deeper. And if we start to realize how much energy that is being exchanged and what are we using it for, we'll be more selective of who we share our bodies with.
Sure. And I mean, the only way to 100% prevent pregnancy is to not have sex at all.
Yeah, we ain't talking about that.
But even wearing condoms, there's a possibility. So every time you have sex with someone, even if they're on birth control, even if you wear condoms, there's still a slight chance that something can happen. So I talked to a guy and he said, I don't have sex with people I don't see myself having a child with. So if that means
that's a smart man.
If that means that I'm not having sex for a minute, I'm good. But I've seen too many of my friends go through, you know, the bitter baby mama if they moved on, to the up in child support payments, to the blasting of their characters. So when he said that, it even had to make me think like, ooh, woof. Okay.
That definitely should be one of the measures on that ruler stick. But, you know, definitely should be one of the measures on the ruler stick.
So then, I mean, even with the guys, you have to think about it too, because it's vice versa. Because it can be that bitter baby daddy, and then you have that he's destroying her character and nothing's wrong. He's just mad because she no longer wants to be with him. But yeah, you have to be very protective of who you give your body to.
Thoroughly.
And I'm just gonna like briefly say like that my counterpoint to, I think men all like bring up child support a lot, and I understand that, you know, one, I think on the internet, the conversation gets exaggerated because we often talk about men that have a lot of means, and the men that discuss this, they will never be at that level. So I'm like, y'all don't even need to be worried about that. You're not going to be a multimillionaire. You don't have to worry about 6-figure child support payments. That's not in your future. And that's just being real. Like, it's funny, but it's real. Like, you're going to be there. But to the average man, like, yeah, you may come up off of child support, but what about that mother that is there with the kid 24/7 if that kid gets sick? If that kid has a field trip, if they have a last minute school project, if they have to go, whatever they have to do, they have to literally tailor their lives to that child. And all you're doing is giving up money. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes we put money on such a high pedestal in that equation of childcare. And that's important, but it's the other things too, the labor that a lot of mothers endure by themselves, along with taking the financial care of the child, that we often ignore and don't take that into consideration either. So
I agree. I mean, because the way men value money is the same way women value their bodies, like in a slight sense. You know what I'm saying?
And just think about that also, like how that even sounds.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy. I'm not
going to be literally on par with money. That is made and lost and gained and lost, so many times over in our lifetimes, and yet men put that on the same page a lot of times. So
yeah, it's crazy, isn't
it? And then there's some men out here trying to do for their kids, and then there are women that will just run off with them and hide them and keeping them from being the fathers that they're trying to be, not even trying to allow them to be a part of a child's life.
Yeah, man. I saw this one post on Instagram, and it was saying that child support is for absent parents, not failed relationships. And that shit hit me hard. I was like, yes.
What you mean, yes? Because hold on. First of all, hold up. Because
do we have any parents here?
One right here. That's why I'm about to speak on this.
I knew this was gonna get Dottie. This is gonna hit Dottie in the chest, yo.
Yeah.
I want to say my words.
I was just interested. I didn't know.
Because with that, it's like you say.
I'm in this convo.
You say it's that I hate that meme because I know exactly which one you're talking about. So, me and my youngest father had an issue where I told him, hey, this is how much I need. I just want you to give this to me. He didn't want to agree to what I wanted. So then at that point, hey, let's try to agree on this, or I'm going to bring the white man into it because you need to assist me. Now, when it came to that, then this is where the defamation of character comes in. Now, all of a sudden, I'm not a good mother. Anyone who knows me knows good and goddamn well my child looks 110% better when she's with me than when she's with him, and he's married. And he's married, and I can go on a whole nother. I'm not gonna go there, but I was looking at him like, how dare you even do that? Like, I was in the courthouse about to get arrested because I was so insulted. Because you're mad at me because I'm taking you to court when all I asked you to do was pay me this amount of money each month. That's
for your
all
child.
I asked.
For your
our child. No, not our child.
Our child.
Not even. I never took that away from him. Our child. But now all of a sudden, I'm a bad mom. I'm this. I'm that. I was so when I found out, because I didn't even know. I didn't find that out until I got to the courthouse, and then I found out he had put a case to say I was a bad mom. I almost went to jail. I looked like a bad mom that day because I was going to go to jail because I was going to knock his head off. But it's like but the bitter baby daddy, because he feels like, well, why do we have to get the white man involved? Because I asked you for a set amount of money each month. That's all I asked you to do.
Right.
That's it. Nothing else.
No threat of losing licenses and tax returns. It was just flat out human to human, adult to adult, parent to parent. Like, look here.
But then at the end of the day, I found out it wasn't even all him. So that's a whole nother story. And I just wanted a certain amount each month. That's it.
And that's why
them externals, when you ain't
them externals will always get you.
When you ain't checking what you need to check because you got something that's already established here, and then
exactly
something else here, you ain't checking that. You gotta check
and that's what needed to be checked. But you two up there, Charles and Poochie, y'all know me personally, so y'all know it was like I was going to go to jail that day.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're glad you're not in jail.
And that's
that bothers me when the guys constantly talk about how it's like, oh, it's a bitter baby mama, oh, it's this, but nobody knows the backstories. Nobody knows what happened behind the scenes of how people were asking, like, hey, I just want this. If I call you, I should be able to say, hey, I'm short. Can you get this? It shouldn't have to be begging.
You shouldn't even have to be short. First and foremost,
true. But you never know. Something
like the shortness is ridiculous to me. That's why my word for y'all is convoluted. Dating for black women is convoluted. I feel bad.
Right to the next segment.
Like, well, come on with it.
Why the fuck is that the case? Like, I just do not understand this. Like, I do understand it because it don't make no sense, and people gonna be people. But it's just like, as men, I feel so bad for y'all women, y'all Nubian nuggets, especially black women, because this understanding portion that y'all have for how terrible men can be, I couldn't be no woman. I'd have been.
Oh yeah,
you motherfuckers a long time ago. Like, what? I'm short. Can you get, motherfucker? Why do I even need to call you and tell you I'm short? Like, what is this? And then for you to really wake up as a man and want to be respected, I'm sorry, I'll go on tangent. So convoluted is how I feel about you all,
ladies. He said convoluted. What say y'all?
Yeah, that's why I always joke and say I'm waiting for the gay agenda to work on me because.
Oh wow! I shouldn't laugh, but
she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. That's why it's funny. Like, I get it.
Lil Nas X videos I need to watch.
I may already be there, so
that the agenda
comes on. That's right, Patty.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Like, Dottie's been knowing me for about 3 to 4 years. Motherfucking shapeshifted since we met. And it wasn't like I was the best person in the world. Some that I chalk up to my alcoholism, some that I chalk up to my youth, some that chalk up to me just being a complete dumbass. You know what I'm saying? And it behooves me that there are people 20 years my senior that I talk to and they be like, man, sometimes you just love the game. Okay, money making Mitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you just love the game? Like, what? What part of the game do you love? After I got set up, I said, okay, Pooch, we need to have a conversation with yourself. Like, because you walked away with your life. A couple of bruises. But I'm telling you, and when I got set up, this is gonna sound really weird. I deserved it. I fucking deserved it.
You saw it. It was red flags and you ignored it.
I was wilding. I was wilding. That was actually the reason why I got set up. Is the reason how me and Dottie met, and it was just one of those situations where it was not good. It was not a
good way to put that friendship out there, but okay.
But Dottie wasn't the reason why I got set up.
It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't. But no, it was. What I say about that is now I take complete responsibility for my actions. You know, like
whoa,
back on it.
Say it again, Uncle Poochie.
That's what we're missing.
I take responsibilities. It was my accountability. Had I not been doing what I was doing, had I not been acting the way I was acting, she would have not placed herself in a position where it's like, I'm gonna get somebody to fuck you up. Because that's really what happened. It was like, I'm gonna get somebody to fuck you up. And it was only because she knew she couldn't beat me up. You know what I'm saying? And had she been able to beat me up, had she tried, I mean, she did try to hit me a couple times. I didn't know that. It was one of those things where it was like, you know, again, I don't suggest anybody put their hands on anybody. Don't do that. But as a man, at a certain point, I talked about this last time being on here. When the fuck do you look yourself in the mirror and realize, bro, you ain't that great, dog?
Right.
I mean, you're pretty shitty, honestly.
Right.
And somebody's gonna whoop your ass to do something worse to you.
Seriously.
Stop.
But the thing is, they're not going to do anything until it gets to that, until somebody is going to beat them up, until their life is in danger.
That's when the GoFundMe come out, and I have to say what that boy do.
Right.
Until they have a reason to hold themselves accountable, they won't.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people only understand rock bottom. Some
people get very apologetic when them click clacks come out. When them click clacks come out, then you want to get really apologetic. Why do you have to wait for the click clacks to come out? Why do you do that, man?
Oh, that's definitely when you want to apologize because they know what's next.
Yeah. I mean, even looking at the reactions from each show, it was remarkable that when the women were giving their recollections of their dating horror stories, there were men in the comment section saying, choose better, do better, instead of doing what we initially asked, which was to just listen. Because the next week, as men gave their recounts of what they went through, what did we do? We listened.
But
that's where a disconnect can lie in, is if there's a lot of chatter and not enough listening.
Professor Brittany, may I say something though?
Yeah.
A lot of men think because they have a penis, what they think goes. Like
that is true.
You ain't even a supervisor at your job, dog. You ain't a supervisor. You ain't even a manager. What you talking about? How would you say go? You don't know how to lead. You ain't built shit. You can't even put together.
And sometimes I think it's amazing. They have modeled either what they've seen or what they think is their definition of what a man is supposed to be or do. Sometimes those bad environmental factors have led them there. And they've not necessarily decided to allow themselves to develop to their own understanding, to be their own men, to find a better way. And
no,
so,
but even
I was going to say, I think some of them are trapped there.
Even like going back to like what we've been through. So you mean to tell me out of a panel of 5 women, if 5 women had the exact same horror story, you're still going to say choose better and not say, whoa, I notice a pattern. All 5 of you have gone through the same thing. Whoa.
Right. It gives all lives matter. Like white people, police brutality happening. And they're like, well, if they would have just complied, if they would have just done this, it's a lot of them blaming that happens a lot of times.
Because I mean, to be honest, when I watched the show with the guys, you guys came out the gate, it was doing a little blaming. I'm not even going to lie. I was like, wow. Like when we came in, we told how we felt, how things were going with us. And you guys came out like, oh, well, this, and you guys should do that. And I was like, well, that's interesting because that's not the tone of with the show that we had. I was a little,
it was a lot of rebuttals to what we said versus their experiences. So.
But they got back on track.
They did.
They did.
Right. So for my thing was because you ladies had such great points that I needed, and it was like it was such a disconnect. Like I knew that disconnect was there. So my goal at the beginning was like, okay, I'm gonna say what the ladies were saying, and I need the guys to respond to that, because that's the only way we were going to get some real healing, some real change going on.
And that's what tonight is for.
And I get it when we were supposed to, we got to there as far as like the experiences as dating as a black man, but it was just so many nuggets that the ladies dropped that I was just like, no, I cannot just let this sit. Like I have to get my brothers to respond to these sorts of things. And I'm like, okay, let's foster this, let's get this conversation going.
Yeah, but it's also difficult when it's in a setting that isn't conversational and they're literally just, you're taking pieces that are out of context versus now where we can actually reply and answer and give, some context of whatever context of what we're saying versus them just responding to little things that you're pointing out from the discussion. Because not all of them have seen it and things like that. And we obviously, don't know all the men, they don't know us, that type of thing. So I think it's just better suited. Like, I think, yes, I do think we had some excellent points. If I may say so myself, I think we had a great conversation, but I think it's better moderated all together to specifically address certain things because then it puts them on the defense. And that's kind of how it came off in the beginning.
Right. And I think the goal is to A, get Black women's perspective, and then B, get Black men's perspective. That this is a space that we're offering just to get some clarity and insight as to how it is dating for, Black men. And that's why activity number 1 was for us to say, oh, dating as a Black man is so-and-so. We could be totally wrong. Based off of what we assume and what we think. And then as Black men, you all could be totally wrong in your assumptions as to how dating as a Black woman is. You see what I mean? So this is why, having us all together right now can give us a chance to hash it out and figure out why is it that we think that dating for you is so-and-so and it's not. And that's, that was the beauty of, did you listen to our experiences? Did we listen to your experiences? What did we learn? What is the same? What is not? We don't see the side of men getting set up often. We don't see the side of men fearing for their lives. So if we have stories from some of you men saying, well, actually, I had this happen. It's like, oh, whoa, okay. Maybe it's not as easy as I thought.
And might I add, one of the things that men, I think, at least are trying to get better at least the men in my circle are trying to get better at, is 2 words: self-awareness. That is like a trend that I think most men were not really aware of until maybe most men actually are not aware of the struggles that women go through until 2 situations occur. They have a daughter or they have a sister. And I've literally grew up with no uncles my whole life, a few, only 2, and both of them pretty much perished at a young age. So I was mainly raised by women, and citing the fact that, I'm a straight Black man who deal with a lot of women, not just, romantically, I just encounter a lot of women. It made me realize that, hey man, like some of the stuff you say ain't cool. They may laugh or chuckle, but you make it uncomfortable. Whereas some men only encounter women, excuse my French, when they fucking. And that is not okay. You got to have some interactions with women that you're just not attracted to make yourself aware that, hey, this is why you look creepy. Hey, this is why this is offensive. Hey, this is why you should not invite shorty out to your house at 8:30 at night. You see what the problem is there? And self-awareness is kind of like the new, it's kind of like the new term for Black men, at least in my circle, of being like, dog, what did you do to piss this woman off? Or what did you do to, start this problem? I don't want to hear about her cursing you out via text and you laughing about it. This shit ain't funny.
Crazy.
Like, what the heck? Yeah. Oh my God. If I hear one more Black man tell me a Black woman is crazy,
I'm like, nigga, what the fuck did you do?
Well, I think a lot of them do it to try to escape what they manipulated in the variables.
Exactly.
Whoa.
As Uncle Poochie was saying, it is that manipulation that they try to do so that they can then make the statement that they do. Yeah, absolutely, it's a part of the game. It's that, as Uncle Poochie, what you were saying about those outside influences. I have 4 sisters, and I have a ton of nieces and nephews, and a lot of the nieces. And I'm very protective. I can tell you, as a as a teenager, I fought my sister's older boyfriend. I had a gun pulled on me. I tried to kill one of them and left his ass for dead. That's another whole story. But
allegedly.
Yeah, I was like,
he didn't really do that.
No, I did. I was cleared. I was cleared, but I did. I didn't get in any trouble for it because what he did deserved, and the police officer agreed with me. So, anyway, it's those, when you have women around you, and if I think if a man mistreats a woman in the way a lot of the men do, I don't think they love their mothers. I don't think they had a very bad relationship with their mother or something in order for them to behave in a certain way. Because a person that love their mother, love their sisters, love their nieces, etc., they don't do that. So, like you said, what backwoods or what rock they crawl from under, hard to imagine, but they're out there. So it is incumbent upon every female to go slow, take your time to realize whether or not you got a snake, verifiable that it's not, at least if it's a venomous snake, or if you know that you have a snake and that's what you want to bring home, then, deal with it. Let's not take your time.
That's right. That was you that said that snake comment last week. And I was like, you can't always see snake in tall grass.
You better take your time. You may not see them in small grass, but when you pick it up and bring it home, you better verify that it's a snake before it goes.
It's a snake.
But I do want to say something. Like you make a great statement of saying that you see how the women in your life and how you want them to be treated, so therefore you know how to treat a woman. But I'm gonna be real with you, because I personally know some men in these situations growing up. Their mothers allow certain behavior, so they grow up thinking that certain behavior is acceptable. And I think we do need to touch on that. Like, some of these men aren't being snakes; they just really don't know no better.
And that was gonna be my
because they don't.
My next point. That was
they don't have no male role models. The male role models in their life were bad examples of what a man should be. Didn't teach them how to find their own way as a man, etc. So they in turn think that is the correct way to do it. I don't want to give it like they just horrible men. Some of these men really just don't know better.
And to piggyback on what you're just saying, I just recently met a young man, I'm not gonna give a characteristic because but anyway. I think his mother was a bad influence in his decision making, because he was like, I'll fight a woman. And my mother told me, beat her ass if you need to. And I was like,
what in the sea brown hell is that?
And he constantly made it known, to the women that were around him. I listened to the way he spoke to them and what he was saying. I was like, young man, for real, you got to change your ways. I know what your mother may have told you. And I said, I don't mean to talk about your mother. I said, but you on the wrong path, young man.
Can I chime into what you're saying? So I understand your point, but I also think that there are men that exist in the world that have mothers. And I think for us as a society, when we tell men, what if that was your mother? What if that was your sister? If men can only respect women in the context of them being in relation to them, then they're not going to respect women as a whole. So I think when we try to really hone in on that point, we miss all the other women that exist in the world. And they're like, cool, I'll respect my mother. I'll respect my sister. I'll respect my daughter. I'll make sure they're protected. But everybody else is free game to treat whatever. And a lot of times that behavior, yes, it can be learned from, other male role models and influences in your life. But I think the larger society a lot of times shows men and women alike, because we internalize a lot of that stuff too as women, that violence against women is okay, when we don't hold men accountable, when they get very light sentences, when they do get charged, for violence, assault, things like that. How we speak about women in music, how we portray women in movies and on TV. Like, there are various ways that men get these signals on how to treat women, and there are various ways that women also pick up on those things and may accept certain behavior because it has been, I hate the word normalized, but it has been in our society. So I don't always want to point to someone's mother as the issue or someone's uncle that didn't tell them right or whatever, because it's a larger society that's telling us a bunch of things all the time.
Absolutely. It's all gathered from a broad spectrum of influence.
And like I said, like there are men that, like, you know, you're saying, yeah, if you have a good relationship with this person, that might, and it may not necessarily, or there are people that they don't have a sister, their mother passed away, they don't have a daughter, you know what I'm saying? So how do you reach those people? And that way is by humanizing everyone, a woman, a trans woman, a little girl, whoever it is. Humanize everyone, and everyone should be treated with respect because they're a person. And I think that's the message that we need to get to people, instead of saying, well, what if that was your sister, or what if that was your mom? That's never gonna cut.
No, and that was just a general point of reference.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, I hear that a lot in the conversations about like treatment of women and things like that, and I think it does come from a good place, but I think we need to move into language that's more broad and more encompassing of everyone in general.
That's good.
There's respect across the board.
And to piggyback on that, Anaya, I hope I pronounced Ania. So sorry, still sorry. I wish we could get past this conversation point right here, and I know Dwight and Charles have heard this. Nigga, you just caping. You just trying to vote for women. You just simping. You just whatever. You just blank. That shit blows my mind. Actually, I had someone watching last week's live, and they told me that I was saying stuff just to look good, and I said,
well, that's because they don't know you. And most people know who you are.
For those people, and I'll say this right now, for those people that have so much to say to you, tell them to come on to the show.
Yeah.
I have so many people, men, that say some of the most inflammatory things, and I invite them onto the show. I give them a personal DM to say, come on Dating University and say what you just said.
You know, I don't do that because
I want to remain private. I'm not trying to be famous. They don't want to come on the show. No, I don't respect them.
Listen, these men wouldn't say that to my face, so I don't. It's just one of those.
But it's just really funny though.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious because it's just like, why do I need to try to look good? Like people who know me personally know, they can call me on my bullshit, and for whatever you see on the internet, some of it's entertainment, some of it's truthful. Anyone follows my Instagram page knows most of it's true, but it's just like, why are you upset with me trying to push the needle forward? Like that shit just bothers me. It's like you rather stay right here. Like you rather stay right here in whatever terminology, whatever mindset. But when I'm trying to just ask you to change up, particularly for my black men, because I've only been a black man my whole life. Why is it that you Negroes, why a simp? I'm in touch with my emotions. I'm a simp. I cry. I'm an F word. I show emotion. I'm a pussy.
Tragic.
Drake once said, I don't make music for niggas who don't get pussy, so I expect them to overlook me. So I listen. I ain't had no problem. Nobody want to talk to me. So this works for me. And if that's what works for you and the women you date, cool. Right. But I'm gonna do me.
But it do work for them because there's women out here that accept it, and that's the
only caveat. Right.
That's the caveat, because it is women out here that, on the flip side, are the same way as these men, doing the same kind of games, playing the same kind of victim role, playing the same kind of females that simping for niggas.
Yeah.
That's allowing these dudes to do this and act like this. And that's just the reality.
And Patty, you're not wrong. Because the thing about it was, one of these people was a man, and one of these people was somebody I previously dated. And they said I was trying to make myself look good. Dottie, you know who it is. It's the original. I was trying to make myself look good. And I was like, how can I make myself look good when I said I have bad dating tendencies?
Okay? But the thing is, it's not that you're trying to make yourself look good. They see that you are looking good. Mm-hmm. They see how you've changed. They see that you are progressing, and now they're looking and they're like, oh, I messed that up. now look what I let go.
And that's my point when it comes down to dating, right? So why is it that we cannot come to this point of where, and I know this wasn't a subject, but I wanted to ask y'all this. Why is it that it seems to be like men who are progressively trying to change a needle and women too, trying to change a conversation narrative, they get less backing? But I ain't gonna lie, and this is no disrespect to anybody.
Because you're pushing people to have to change and they're not ready to change.
Because everybody love Ray Ray. Everybody love Ray Ray.
I mean, look at this show. I mean, we've been doing this show for 5 years, and like our main goal is to foster conversations that help bring about healthy relationships. If we were sitting up here just spewing all of the most ratchetest shit and talking about all these celebrities' relationships and how they who fucking who and who's doing what and all this other nonsense, then yeah, we would mess around and have like 10,000, 50,000, subscribers and likes and all that other nonsense. But when you, I'm telling you, it's so crazy. Like when you try to do something good, like you were saying, Patty, like and Poochie, like it was just, nobody's going to understand it if they don't want to understand it. Like they'd be like, oh, they on some bullshit. They talking how to be good to one another.
They don't.
How's that a bad thing? Like,
in the media has a saying that with their stories that they like to lead off with. If it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. People like violence. People are attracted and drawn to
the drama.
The drama. And and it's funny because they're shaped very early in the school systems that way. Shakespeare, think about it. Like a lot of the things that you read, and even the a lot of the heroes, it's tragedy and drama.
Yeah,
it's not always the love stories.
Well, Dwight, speaking of leading, can you lead us into your one word to describe dating from a Black woman's perspective?
From all that I've gathered from these conversations, the word that came to mind is another C word, and it's challenging. Because it definitely sounds that I want to also say disconnected, but I'm going to say challenging because challenging is the leading part of the disconnect. And I think challenging because one of the things that all of us do is we are meeting people coming from every background that's imaginable. Some of them are coming from single family homes, broken family homes, family homes where it's not broken and everything is beautiful, poverty, just the whole the melting pot of situations. And some of them have learned how to be men. Some of them haven't become men. Some of them are on the path to learning. Some of them are coming out of bad relationships. They're bringing their baggage into the next. And I think that's just one of the things that's going to happen. And it's tough. It's challenging to navigate what you're getting when you get it.
Ladies, what do y'all think? Is dating challenging? Is he correct